So, welcome to episode 161 of We Have Issues. I'm Anthony.
And I am Stevie Wildcard.
Every week, Stevie Wildcard and I get together and we do our best to talk about our various issues. We talk about life issues, comic book issues, and all of the various issues that life throws our way while we're trying to get something done. Most recently, we've been working on issue 2 of our comic book. And Stephen, this week, we received Deathless
The
issue.
Holy Grail.
Oh, Steven, this book looks so cool. I am so excited about these.
I noticed though that dice on the back only has 20 sides.
It's, you know what though, the 21 is on the back of the die though. It's
Gotcha.
like, it's the we have to keep it hidden or else it's too much power for the back of the book. We need most of the power in the front of the book. We didn't want to scare people. See, if you pay attention, you notice that like this is this side of the die, and then the awesome bomb ass like
that's one. That's 21. That's the critical role. The super critical role.
That's exactly. Steven, this book looks so cool and it feels so real. Like it's like reading this book, I was so excited to get these. I'll tell you, there was one thing that happened that it was my fault, and it's I see how it happened. But basically, starting with what like page 9 or so, the some of the dialogue on one of the characters is just slightly too small. Like just like it's acceptable. Like it's one of those things where it's like we could print this off just like it, just how it is, and no, most people wouldn't care. Most people wouldn't notice, but I would notice, and I feel like it needs to be fixed. Just it needs to be fixed. I almost accepted it. I was like, I don't know. I went back and forth because I had a rough week this week, and I was like, it's good enough. But then I was like, it's gonna take me one day. So I took tomorrow off of work, and I'm gonna fix this book and send off for all the copies because like it's done. It looks beautiful, and I know exactly now. I know that like the thing I did with the text looks great. It looks fantastic, and I can't wait. It's just that the sizing was just a little off with that one character because we're kind of being dynamic with the dialogue bubbles and stuff, and this one we're doing fun stuff. But yeah, there's just a little bit that I have to fix. But dude, it looks so good. I'm so excited.
I'm so glad all the lighting effects like completely. I mean, like that obviously it was the layer system with the pencils we played again. So like I don't think we ever have to worry about it in the future. It seems I think just being in CMYK for the print mode, anything that we're seeing on screen is going to be fine on print. So
I'm trying to like I don't want to give anything away in this book, but it's so cool. I do want to show. Hang on, let me see. I'll show just to see how cool the lighting effects are in this freaking like look at it, just looks so cool. Look at this book. It's so dynamic and colorful and beautiful. Dude, I love it. And like
I love that those night pages went side by side, by the way, too.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Dude, it looks so good. I'm excited. Dude, I'm so excited for this book. And I tried really hard when writing this one to like work on page flips and like get all that stuff down, and like it works, and like the book reads really well. It's just there's one quick thing to fix, which I'll literally fix, but like when this is at, like if you're seeing this now, I'm working on it as you're watching this, I promise. But like I should be able to order all of the books by Thursday, if not Wednesday night. So I'm gonna order all the books.
Amazing.
And dude, that's it, and that means
it's time to get together for beers and packaging again.
Yes, my favorite part. I literally
and I also did a little science experiment with our recent purchase from our website and sent a poster to see how well it hangs in the comic box. So
even I'm sure it hangs really well. I'm sure it's like well hung. I mean, you did it.
I started thinking about it. I'm like, you know what? As tight as I had to roll the poster to fit it, I think it gives it like a structure, So right. I think it'll be okay. We'll see. We'll find out. It was a free poster for said purchaser. So,
Steven, okay. I'm sure it's beautiful. I can't wait. I like, and I'm really excited because like we'll hear back about that, and we'll know what to do with like the majority of our backers from Kickstarter. Dude, this week, so I had a rough week. And I had a lot of like brain stuff going on this week because I was sick. I wasn't feeling well. But before I get into that, I want to say like today I was just having like I'm feeling like when you're like sick and then you start feeling better, and then like it kind of like you're trying to catch up, and you feel like you play catch up a lot and your brain is all over the place, and you're just like, what am I supposed to do? What am I supposed to be doing? And while I was doing that, I had an idea for a movie, and I was like, God, I shouldn't. I have so many ideas for movies already, and I shouldn't think about this. I have other stuff to think about, but I just like found myself like thinking about it. So I was like, all right, fine. I'll just do like a quick pitches get stitches, and we'll get it out there into the world, and we'll just see what happens.
Okay. It's that time again, ladies and gentlemen. My buddy Anthony is gonna pitch. But I am very sure that if you keep listening, he's gonna leave you in a stitch. Cause it's pitches get stitches, pitches get stitches. It's round something 24, pitches get stitches. And he's gonna have a great joke at the end of this. Cause it's pitches get stitches.
Steven, every time you do a song, it's the same one. If you've been watching for 161 episodes, first of all, thank you. Welcome. Welcome back. We love you. We're so thankful to have you in our colony. If you're here for the first time, just know that first of all, hit the subscribe button. I think it's over here. Hit the subscribe button. Stick around with us for a little bit. Sometimes the show's fun, but every time Steven does exactly what he just did to the T. It's gorgeous.
To the T.
No, okay, all right. I have to break this for a second and just say, Steven, that one was exceptionally good. What's going on in that brain of yours today?
Dude, I need everyone to know. I need everyone to know that I truly am a procrastinating wild card, and I do not prepare any of this material. This is all off the top of my head, which is easy to do when you sing the exact same song every episode.
Okay, so every week I write this show. I'm like, Steven, stick to the script. You stick to my words, Steven. I'm a writer. I'm an artist. And every week he does it, and I'm impressed. I think it's because he's
never miss a beat.
Never misses a beat.
Now the thing is it's very similar to our comic process. Like he basically sends the lyrics. I got to kind of fill it out. He does put like a time signature, but I usually just ignore that part, just like I do everything else. But
entirely, no, but really, that was a really good song. And Steven just completely improvises those songs every single time, and it's always so much fun. And I'm so glad.
Mostly because I never know what segments Anthony's going to throw at me in a given episode, so I have nothing prepared.
I like our show this way, and I think it works.
Oh, it's perfect.
I think it works for us because, I remember we were on we've been on Don't Make It Weird a billion times, and they always ask us when they've been on the show, it's just like, oh, what are we gonna do in the show? I'm like, I'm gonna write down all this stuff that we're gonna do and talk about, and I'm gonna tell no one about any of it. And that's
how we go. There's no show prep.
Yeah.
It's almost natural response, right? Yeah, it flows like a conversation.
Yeah, that's all. So I have a little bit of information, and then we're gonna we'll work our way through it. So every once in a while we get together, and I have a random idea for a movie or a TV show or a book or whatever it is. This time, Steven, I was just okay. I was at work and I saw a painting. Okay, this lady brought in a painting, and it was just this old house. It was this in this big wheat field, and it looked like there was corn. I don't know. You know how paintings are, where it's just sometimes it's hard to impressionist sort of stuff off in the distance, where it's it looks kind of like corn. I don't know, but I could tell it was people were growing some sort of crops.
There's a crop being grown in this painting.
So I was like, this.
She's like, no, it's not corn. It's marijuana. No, frame
it. I'm not framing it twice. I don't know why you're doing it twice, lady. You gotta frame this framing.
Frame the frame. This frame is so beautiful.
It's the most beautiful frame I've ever seen. Gotta put a frame.
I need you to frame the frame.
Too much marijuana, lady. Okay.
Too much. I mean,
so I saw this lady framing a frame, and I was just like, okay, this old house looks really cool and spooky. And I was like, what would it be like if someone inherited a house like that? Because imagine someone like us, because people who usually get those houses, it's someone who's in that business, someone who's in that lifestyle, who's used to growing crops.
It's their third corn house. It's not their first corn house.
Oh God, yeah. Oh, it's their best grow house. They know it. They've been around grow houses their whole life.
We're growing corn again.
So yeah, but someone like us, or someone so you get in there and you're looking around, just it's kind of a spooky house, and you look around, you're like, okay, what do I do with this machinery? And then you see there's just this old creepy just wooden build, an old barn, and you go over to it and you're you go in and you hear a noise coming from it, and you're like, not gonna go in there. Like not gonna do it. I'm not gonna be that guy. I'm not
That's
gonna
the barn
die.
people's barn. It's
That's
not
right.
my barn anymore.
It's not my
They've
barn anymore.
claimed
It's
it. That's
on.
how that is the shotgun equivalent. Like when you run to a car, like if you make a noise near a barn, you've called the barn. That's just how it works in this
Exactly.
world.
Exactly. No, it's like if there's a noise in there, that's no longer my business. Is how I see it. I'm like
Ain't my business.
I will like there are many ways that I'm willing to die. That's whatever is making a noise in a random spooky barn is not my business, not my problem. So I imagine you'd be like, ooh, let's go look elsewhere for now, and then like so you're looking around and you find like old like books and like photo albums and stuff, and you see the photo albums and they're like a photo album just of the barn, and you see it's like first it's like a brand new looking barn and it's like beautiful, and then as you flip it, like you see it like it's slowly dilapidated and like a little like worn down, and you see, but like you don't see anything too suspicious, but it is very weird that these people just have like a scrapbook of the barn. It's
There's
very
the barn decaying over time.
decaying
Like
over
this is
time.
how
Yeah.
we.
So over time, like you're there and you're trying to like figure things out here. You're like, how am I going to make a life here? And you're like, I have to figure out what's going on in this barn. Um, and Steven, like you approach the barn and you see out of one of the windows just a giant tentacle leaving the barn. Just like this, like Lovecraftian creature, like tentacle exiting the barn and just sweeping the crops and bringing them back inside into the, and you are just like free, like you run inside, you're just like, what am I supposed to do? And you call, like you get on the phone, you call like the one cop in this tiny town, you're just like, oh my god, there's a giant tentacle, in the barn. And the guy on the other side is like, oh, the barnacle.
The barnacle. Wait. That is not a tentacle, ladies and gentlemen.
Okay, so the whole reason I wanted to do that, Steven, is because you broke my brain today, Steven. You broke my brain. So I wanted to do this backdoor pilot into our monster test barnacle edition.
I think barnacles have to stay far, far away from the back door, if I'm being honest with you.
Okay. So we're not really going to do a true monster test because barnacles aren't actually monsters. They're just beautiful.
But if they were,
yes.
Why isn't there a barnacle cryptid at this point?
Yeah, there really should be. I don't understand. Okay, so let's get into this because people don't understand. Like, if you're watching this right now, we're about to lay some mad macaroni knowledge on you. Like, Steven's going to give you, Steven is a barnacle expert at this point, and
he
broke my brain in a way that only a barnacle could. So Steven, please tell us some things that you know about barnacles now.
And I need you guys to know that, like, I randomly came across this fact, and then I had to Google search, like, what animal has the biggest blah 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 blah, and guess what? It brought penis. I didn't even penis. So barnacles are very interesting creatures. When they hatch, when they are spawned into the ocean, they're like little larvae, and they swim around and they do their thing with they have these little tiny tentacles. But at some point they decide, hey, I'm gonna fuse to the side of something with my cement gland, that's badass
for sure, 100%.
Well, so then this little larvae guy, like, he like goes, I'm gonna become a barnacle now, and he like cements and creates this little mud dauber looking hut of a shell up against a pylon, possibly sometimes on like whales and sharks that just fuse onto a fish.
I saw pictures of like a bottle with like a billion barnacles on it, where I'm like, that's like party. This is incredible. Like, now that I know,
it's an orgy, actually.
Yes. But... Go ahead. That's what I was going. Yeah, go ahead.
So once it has cement gland itself to something, that's where it be for the rest of its days. And they're hermaphroditic, which is pretty crazy, meaning that either one can just do it. But when they need to procreate, the barnacle extends from its barnacalian shell a penis 8 times the length of its own body. I mean, 8 times. There is nothing that even comes close. Someone's like, what about the wood duck? And I'm like, nope, wood duck, half the size of its own body. This is 8 times the size of its own body, and finds another barnacle and is just like,
Okay, Steven,
and then pulls it back.
I also read that this penis, this like prehensile, like slithery, like snake of a monster penis, this like Lovecraftian nightmare can also smell and like taste. Their penis, their penis has senses. Like that is like it mostly comes at night. Mostly, like it is an alien, scary, terrifying monster movie waiting to happen. This thing slithers out and it knocks on the doors of the various barnacles, and it's like, "Hey, are you interested?" And most of the time, they seem to just be like, "Oh yeah, get that thing in here." Like I'm so ready.
Bring it on in.
Bring it on in. I have one of my own, and I can't.
Could you imagine if someone's dick knocked on your door?
I've been thinking of very little else all day, Steve. That's all I've been thinking about. I've only been thinking about strange, giant monster alien dongs just ding dong ditching my house and be like, oh, I guess he's
thank God. Thank God, barnacles haven't become like sentient to the level that we are, because they'd be taking the craziest dick pics with like a selfie. Like, I mean, like,
oh my God, Steven,
aerial view.
The barnacles, they're one of like the oldest living creatures. First of all, I'll let you know, before today, I knew they were I thought they were some sort of plant-like like growth. Like I thought they were some sort of like a fungal is what I thought, like a fungus growth of some sort that grew in the sea. I did not know they were alive. I didn't know that. And I didn't realize like they're one of the oldest living creatures. And Stephen, they don't have to. There are numerous species, of course, because like they're floating around independently on these little islands that they find somehow and just have orgies their entire lives as they're mating. It's
and dude, they're actually like amazing, like filtration for water. Like they clean up like bad things in the water. Like there's actually a project going on that I heard about on the radio about like how like they want to try to like some guy suggested they clean the waters like whenever like when they let the lake out into our waters, you know, we get that algae bloom. Basically, that if we put a bunch of barnacles like along our coastline, like and like really feed them, that they can actually filtrate most of that and then just keep banging, basically.
Dude, it's so interesting. Like I guess they're related to lobsters and crab, and you know they kind of look like little shrimp in there, and they have this tail that comes out and catches food and brings it back to them. They're like, ha ha ha, time to bang again.
You're seeing, and they're one of the oldest creatures, and it's like that means they were just like they were evolving, they were changing, and they're like, all right, we got a giant penis, we're done.
We're done. They were like, we won. They were like, listen,
game set.
we can go. Like, I have so many questions though, because like, okay, once they become their barnacle self and they like, you know, they adhere to something, right? Can you imagine like the lonely, weird, like clock penis that's just like looking for something to be like, hey, anyone, and they just happen to grow in the wrong place? Does that happen?
Oh man,
you know what I mean? Like if you're there for,
that's probably why the penis got so big.
They're like, is anyone around? Is anyone around?
For the first few barnacles, like there was a couple of loners that only had like, you know, it was only twice the size of their body, and they weren't totally finding shit.
That's exactly why, right? We ain't found shit. Yeah. Dude, but it's so interesting. Like they don't even have gills, but they just like they're like perfectly evolved to just like party and bang it out and just have these weird barnacle orgies and clean the earth. It's like I mean, I'm not saying I want to come back as a barnacle, but I'm not saying that, Stephen.
I'm not saying it. They don't seem to have many like natural predators. They're just kind of vibing.
They're just vibing.
Could you imagine trying to eat something that just defends itself in a way you don't want it to defend itself?
Steven, what I'm hearing is you're wondering what a barnacle tastes like, and I am curious now. Like I like, does anything eat them? Like, is there? I don't know if they have any natural predator. I obviously like when they're tiny little like, you know, like wormy jellyfish type creatures, I'm sure things are,
they got to be pretty small, right? Because I mean like I've seen barnacles on like a dock. They're very like the cement, each one is so tiny, so like can't be much meat. It had to be like you'd have to like harvest hundreds of barnacles for a nice spoon,
or like two barnadongs. Like
barnadongs. You gotta wait. The trick is you gotta pretend to be a barnacle that's receiving, so that way it extends itself, and then you just snip that sucker.
You dress up like a barnacle, just hang out on
that is the biggest fucking barnacle I have ever seen.
Barnacle. The scariest creature I've ever seen in my life. Really, that like it's even if it wasn't a penis, like who cares? Like even if it was just a tentacle, right? Like if it was just anything, like just the idea of this thing attaching itself near you or on you, like since they can obviously attach to like living creatures as well. Imagine like going swimming, like you go in the ocean and you come out and you're like you have this little just like a little crusty thing on you, like and it won't come off. And like all right, maybe I'll wash it off. You got to wash it, won't come off. You try to peel, it hurts. You know, you're like, oh, I'm gonna have to go to the doctor, and you go, and the doctor's like, I've never seen anything like this, but like, I imagine it'll just fall off. Let's put this ointment on it, or tea tree oil, or whatever, and they would try to get it off. We're gonna have to do surgery. We'll talk to you, about it later. It hurts like hell. Then suddenly you wake up the next day, it's larger, taking over part of your body, and something's coming out of it. Like now there's a creature on, like just interesting. It's
question. In Davy Jones, was it Davy Jones? Yes. In Pirates of the Caribbean?
Yeah.
He had barnacles on him, did he or did he not?
He did. That amazing. That interestingly makes that movie like NC-17, right? Like it's pretty close because I mean he just has.
I mean, do we know for sure those tentacles on his face were his tentacles?
We do not. They were, yeah. Oh man. Davy Jones.
Tentacle Gate.
Tentacle Gate. Okay. We've been talking about barnacle dongs for a while. Let's see. So if you have any other information about barnacles or interesting animal anatomy that we might want to look into, it doesn't have to be dong related, even though it is pretty funny for some. It is like the lobster. I still am fascinated by lobsters. I can't get over them.
In your eye. Pee from my eye.
From my eyes, sir.
I pee in my own eye as I pee on you because I don't know how I do it.
I don't know how we do it. This is a magic that we
Can we just agree that things that come from the lobster family do some weird ass shit?
I really do. I feel like
they've redefined.
I feel like the reason we haven't met any like other like we haven't met any extraterrestrial beings is because they're all lobster based and they're not ready for our kinks yet.
Like they are not ready. They think they're ready with their crazy human kinks.
I think that's what they're doing. They're like feeding us technology. They're like, oh, if we give them enough technology, they're going to get into the porn. The porn's going to spread out into everything. And eventually
lobsters are the reason Rule 34 exists. like we need to corrupt their internet as fast as possible.
Fast as possible. They're not ready for us at all. We're going to
we need to get them there. They have 20 years. 20 years.
20 years later. You're ready to embrace us. The shell is yours. Wait, what?
The shell?
Okay.
All right, now get ready because this dong is about 50 feet long and I'm about to pee from my eyeballs.
This dong is 50 feet long and I'm about to pee from my eyeballs. Steven Todd. Okay. How do I get back from this? I can do it. Okay. But speaking of reaching out in awkwardness and looking for love in all the weird places. I'm kidding. I don't really have a segue for that. I mean,
dude, that's a new dance move, isn't it?
First of all, it's
the barnacle.
Why
is that the barnacle? Oh, funny you ask.
Steven, we need to start calling dudes who send unsolicited dick pics on social media. Let's call them Barney.
Oh my God.
Let's just call them Barneys because they're clearly knocking on doors with their dicks.
Yes.
A bunch of Barneys. Call them Barneys.
A bunch of Barneys.
They're Barneys.
It even double dips as like a Barney Stinson jab too. But like,
dude, it's just like that's such a simple, perfect lingo that should exist, and we need to make sure that everyone understands what barnacles. Make everyone watch this episode. If you're watching this right now, go share it with all your friends and just call out the Barneys of the world. Go yell at them, and also like go post Barney on Urban Dictionary and write the definition.
Barney, short for barnacles, because they just unsolicited DPs.
Yes. Barney, short for barnacle, noun. It's dude who sends unsolicited dick pics knocking on DM doors with his dong. Yes. Okay, we did it.
However, unlike the barnacle it is related to, it is 8 times reduction in size of said human.
I mean, Probably. Honestly, that's always fascinating. We shouldn't keep talking about it, but I am interested. I like. Okay, just very briefly. I'll punctuate very, very briefly. You would have thought. I would have thought. I should speak for myself. I statements. I would have thought the people who do that would have that like weird, like confidence or arrogance because of a certain like size or
like or like an Adonis penis, yeah. Like just the prettiest, like
yeah. Not necessarily the case. I've learned. I've seen
ever
these things and I'm like, oh, this is really weird. This is not. There's it's a power thing or it's a they're like ego
or it's a shame kink or something.
Yep. It's there. Yeah, there's several like ridiculous, like several things but weird and interesting. Barney's though, perfect. Steven. But unlike our terrible Barney enemies, I'm not that person. I'm not gonna be like knocking on doors doing that. So I've been going through I've been going through like the stages of like not mourning a relationship, but like the grief of like, oh, okay, well, how long is this gonna last? Am I gonna be alone forever? Do I try to date? When do I try to date if I'm gonna? I'm not getting any younger. I'm going through like that kind of existential, like, oh God, okay, well, I have like I'm eventually my hair is gonna start falling out or something. Like I feel like my body's gonna fall apart and die, and I won't meet the right person who's super into that. Like I need to find someone who has like an aging kink, like someone who's like, oh, that guy, he's fallen to pieces. His life's falling apart. I love him. Like I'm gonna need that eventually. No, but I don't know. It's been weird because like I know I'm in a place right now where I have to write Deathless issue 3 and I want to write a movie and I want to make that open door movie. I want to I want to make those things right now. But I'm also like, oh man, I just wish I had some company sometimes. I just want to hang out with someone cute, like I freaking I hate that. I hate that feeling, like I hate that weird loneliness that creeps in sometimes. And it's I what I hate more is because like every once in a while like that'll happen and I can be like, I'll dismiss it and I'll be like, okay, I'm gonna focus this energy on doing things. I'm gonna make something. I'm gonna edit things. I'm gonna like share the podcasts I'm on and try to talk to people, help people whenever I can, and do what I can. But every once in a while, it's unfortunately accompanied by that like mortality and like the dread of like, oh, I am getting older and I like my time is limited and what am I gonna do? Am I spending my time like wisely? Am I like I am happy, but at the same time it's like it's time travel. I'm time traveling and I hate it. I shouldn't be time traveling, so I'm that I've been struggling with that lately. I've been struggling with like a little bit of loneliness, a little bit of like aging stuff. So like lately, and I was sick. So I was sick this week. I got like soup. So I had off Friday, Saturday, Sunday. And dude, Thursday night, out of nowhere, I was just like exhausted. Like beat to hell exhausted. Like didn't want to move my body. I like normally when I get sick, it starts in my face. Like and I always have that thing where I'm like, ooh, is it allergies or is it sickness? Is it allergies or is it sickness?
Which is true, man. And allergies can really feel like a light cold basically most of the time.
Dude, exactly. And like so I have that issue. Didn't happen this time. This time it was just body and just exhaustion. Like I felt like I hadn't slept in a year. Like I literally like you ever stay up all night like when you were a kid? Like like when you were younger, you ever like do an all-nighter and then like the next day like for a while, like when you're super young, you're like, oh, okay, yeah, it's fine. But then like as you start getting a little older, when you do like your last couple of all-nighters, like you stay up all night and you're just like, I can see stuff I shouldn't be seeing right now. Like
I'll never forget when I was like 20. You and I actually stayed up all night watching like Jane Silent Bob and stuff. Yes. And then I had to work with my dad the next day. And it was like one of those situations where like the company I was working for, the tile company, it was a Habitat for Humanity donation. So basically our entire tile company, like there was like 20 guys. We literally set and like grouted and like did an entire house in one day. And I couldn't miss it because it was a donation situation. Dude, that was the lesson where I'm like, I'm never staying up all night ever again. I can't do this. This is literally hell on earth. Yes. I am going to die any second.
Dude,
yeah, that was the last time I ever did it.
It's so nuts. And like, yeah, you remember, but that feeling is so strong. Like it feels like what I keep coming back to is it kind of feels like you're in the wrong reality. Like you feel like you should have gone to sleep and like move forward in space time with everyone else. But for some reason, you're still like stuck in this weird limbo, and your body's like, you're not meant to be here, because like your brain doesn't work the right way. Like it feels like everything's translated in a way that doesn't make sense for you. Like it feels like you're like a fish out of water. Like you're in the wrong atmosphere. You can't
It really
acclimate.
does. Like you're like still in yesterday, literally. Like
Yeah.
you the
Still in
rest of the
yesterday
world
is
is
a
in today.
great title for something, by the way. Right? Still in yesterday.
It is still in yesterday.
Just like that barnacle penis, because
it's still in yesterday because it can
it
just
drags. It
drags, baby.
So, but yeah, dude.
Forever thankful that barnacles are much smaller than than they have to be.
Than they have to be.
We could have a really bad time if they were even the size of a redfish. But anyways.
But yeah, dude. So like, I was feeling so tired, and then the next day, my face finally exploded. Like it happened where I was just like, I was dying, just like a flood of just sneezes all day. I felt like the worst parent ever. Like I'm so bad with that because it's like it's hard, and I hate to be like world's smallest violin, but like, dude, as a single dad, I can't be like, hey. Go hang out with your mom for a little bit, or like go do like here do this. I'm just like, oh buddy, let's play some video games. So I'm like sneezing. I have tissues. I'm just like, I'm dying. And like, to make matters worse, I felt like a jerk because it was Friday. And Friday, it was our day to go to that Retro Zone arcade where like we go to the arcade and we play all the old video games together, and it's unlimited, and he loves it. We have this like fun time, and he was so excited all week. And I just suddenly got sick, like super sick on that day. And I was like, I can't do it. And I had to break his little heart. And I was like, I spent way more money than I should, because I was like, I'm going to compensate by buying you a video game. And because it's like, I feel terrible, but anyway, dude, I was just like, I was going through it, and I felt like I wasn't getting anything done because I like, my house becomes a mess. It's like,
you just get overwhelmed too by
yeah,
so many different aspects of life. Yeah,
you really do. And it's like the older adult version of getting stuck in yesterday. Like, like I'm still in yesterday because like I haven't done my cleaning, I haven't done my laundry, I haven't done my stuff. Like everything is fallen behind just enough for me to feel like I'm lost in yesterday. Or I'm like, oh crap, how do I make up for that time? Oh my God. So I have to forgive myself and just be like, okay, well, this is the thing. We're just going to move a little slow. I'm not going to get as much done this week. And it's okay. I don't have to be super productive guy all the time. Like that's okay. But yeah, dude, it's been rough. I just started feeling a little bit like better yesterday. Like my nose stopped, and I was like, I was okay. I was tired. And today I'm still a little tired, dude. And like, I noticed I have these, like I went to work, right? And I looked in the mirror at work, and I have like this white dry skin under my eyes when I was at work.
No,
and I was like, yeah, it's happening. I was like, oh my God, how old am I? I was like, I am so old. And that's like, it started feeding into like the insecurity and of the like, oh, okay. So my skin's going to die. My eyes are going to look super old. I'm going to get all these wrinkles. My hair is going to fall out. Probably not gray the way I want. I can't grow a great beard. Who's going to be attracted to me? Like all these like.
I just imagine the episode of How I Met Your Mother when Robin's on the couch, like prior to it, she's like, Ted, I'm gonna come at you like a panther. Like you won't be able to, she's just covered in, I'm ready to have sex now. Like just
that's kind of how it felt, but so yeah, so I've been feeling just like old and sick and insecure, and I've just been dealing with all that. But I've also been super sick, and I have to just accept that happens sometimes. I need to just say I was sick. Now I'm feeling better, and there's stuff I can do to help a little. Like obviously I'm gonna age, I'm gonna die one day, but I'm gonna get my stuff done. I can take care of my skin. I don't have to have dry spots under my eyes. I can moisturize, baby. Right? Like that's
I actually bought lotion recently too, because I'm like, you know what?
Yeah.
I'm on my 6th or 7th year working in the sun. I think I need to start like
I'm gonna start taking care of some of these.
I need to start putting cucumbers on my eyes at night or something.
Okay, I'm gonna tell you, I had that thought while I was at work today. I was like, I do have cucumbers in the fridge. And I was like, I've never put food on my face. but I'm
I was literally thinking of that guy that I think he was Jamaican. That guy that sings. Remember that cucumba, and he's like singing the song. Great
no.
hydrator. And puts on your oh dude, I'm gonna send it to you.
Yeah,
But like
send it to
I
me.
literally, it was almost like my little guardian angel, like recommending cucumber in all walks of life. I'm just gonna start living in the cucumber life is what I'm gonna start doing.
Hashtag cute cutie cukes.
Cutie cukes.
But yeah, dude. So Steve and I are gonna become cutie cukes. No, but like
Cutie cute.
so it's probably a sex thing,
We
and I
just
just don't know about
cutie
it.
cute. Yeah.
Everything is right. Freaking barnacles. Those,
Everything.
those lobsters are
Those
trying to.
lobsters are like, yes, yes, bring up the cutie cooks. They need to get to the cutie cukes because the cutie cukes is very imperative. Cutie cukes leads to a whole array of things, and we really need them to know about it.
Davis, is it happening? It's happening. The cutie cukes, yes.
Cutie cukes.
Cutie cukes. Yes, he opens up his lobster chest. It's just a big tattoo.
They've only done so few things sexually with cucumbers. There's so much more in the lobsterverse. So much more you can do with them.
Speaking of what we're gonna do next, Steven, every week.
I haven't even hollowed one out yet. Anyways.
I'm just laughing. I'm just like, ooh, let me grasp at these these Segway straws that I get. Like anything I got this. Milk it. No, okay. So speaking of things that we're gonna be working on, like getting cutie, making cutie cukes and the Barney thing. Stephen, every week we talk about our various issues, what we felt, and what we've been going through, what comic book stuff we've been working on, and then we talk about what we're gonna work on next. So what are we doing this week? What are you doing this week?
So I'm like I said, I'm just like waiting for the books, and then we're gonna like get all the other things. I did draw issue 3's cover. Probably it's probably gonna end up being the cover. We'll see. But I'm just gonna do a quick Deathless drawing. I might Photoshop and edit a drawing from the issue 2 too for that little
Cool.
acrylic figure. I'm not sure. I'm not sure which way I want to go about it. Yeah, I'm not sure if I want to do an original or if I want to reference the issue itself with
Sure.
the
Like,
acrylic. So
I mean, if
same
you
with same with the poster too. I'm not sure. Should we give them a should there be should the poster be a print of the cover or should the poster be the Marion Barreled print? What did we promise for sure? I think it was the Marion Barreled, which I'm down. I have that. I have that done. So
yeah, I think that's why we promised it, is because you had those done. So we figured because those were just like they were additional things. And Marion Barreled are gonna play pretty heavily into the plot in the next issue. So I think people would enjoy having
it's
that.
cool to like precursor, like kind of establish little points. So
yeah, for sure, dude. So this week, tomorrow, I do have off of work. Atlas is going to go to school. While he's at school, I'm going to treat it like my job. I'm going to fix that lettering in all of the pages. And as soon as I finish it, I'm going to send it off and I'm going to count the books that we need. And I'm going to order what we need plus probably a good 100 books. How many do you think I should order extra? Probably about 100, right? Like maybe.
I think so. It seems like we do get through them. I mean, we do,
Well,
and
here's the thing. I like I'm of two minds here, okay? And like I do think we should order at least 100, if not more. We will get through them. I've complete confidence that we're gonna sell these freaking books. But I also want to keep in mind that like at some point we're gonna have a collection. Like once we get the graphic novel, we're not going to be printing individuals
more, So this is another thing too, and I know this is not something we usually do.
Yeah,
it's not marketing and things like that really aren't our thing.
Oh, I just had a thought.
However, a few like random people, like for example, there was actually a homeowner that I was doing papers for who was a huge comic collector. And like I actually gave him like a copy of Deathless because he's a really cool guy. I'm like, yeah, here's a copy. Like, check it out. And he loved it.
We both have to slow down on that, but I do that all the time. I'm like, oh,
he just seemed like
here's a comic book. And I'm like, I need to stop.
Like, he's talked to like Todd McFarlane before. And so like, I'm like, oh, this guy's cool. Maybe, And so like I gave him a copy. And he loved it and he can't wait for issue 2. But he asked me like, how many are in your print runs? And I'm like, maybe that's like, I know it seems silly to us, but maybe that's something we should consider right. Is like doing print runs, because like this print run is 300 issues. I
know. You're right.
Next one, I know it seems stupid to limit things and like it feels weird like that, but I mean, we could still print it again, but just change it slightly so that this print run is, people like to collect things and people like to feel.
You're very right about it. You're very right about it. And like, it because stuff like that drives me crazy because like I never want to. And I totally understand. There are people who love that, and like I like to have the first print of things too. Like I think it's really cool, but like I hate it because it makes me have two minds. Because I'm like I don't. It feels like a almost like gatekeepy to some people where I'm like, oh, what you get? Like you didn't get it until the second print or whatever. But it does kind of like punctuate the time as well. Like it kind of it creates these stepping stones of time where it's like, hey, this is our first print. And I was like, this actually does kind of work into the thought that I had like right before you started talking is when we do issue 3, we're going to have a reward tier where it's a catch-up physical copy tier. So even if we have extra issues, we can use those issues that we print now in our future campaigns. So like we're always going to get through them no matter what. But you're right, we should do that. We didn't
and I think it's something as simple, dude. All we do is like, obviously everyone that has the Kickstarter, like it's very apparent that this issue is the first print.
Right.
And then all we do is like we just change the background color or do something like different to the cover.
That's true too. I mean,
just change the cover, like in a way that way people, you don't even have to put second printing on it. I mean, I could, but
well, I was going to say what we could do is in that very first, here, I'll show you here. At the bottom of this page, we'll just put second printing like right here, like just put it on the bottom, like small, either that or in the back, but because that would be easy enough because we don't have to put first printing. We could just be like, hey, if it doesn't say anything, that's the first print. If it's a second printing, that's the second.
And print. I know like that type of stuff is like silly to me, but it's not like, I mean, I think about me, like I always wanted to buy the direct edition of, the first time the Spider-Man came out, the Ultimate Spider-Man came out. Like those things are important to collectors, and what are comic books? Of course, they're stories, but they're also something people collect. So I do think I think we should do that. And I think we should reward the people. That's a really good way to simply reward people that back our Kickstarter with giving them a unique.
For sure.
Like they have they're part of the first print run. So I mean, like,
Yeah. No, dude, you're totally right about that. And it would incentivize people in the future to, back the next book. So now you definitely have, and when we do print, we're doing a good print run. We'll start keeping track of it. So like when I order the books this time, I'll remember our first, like I'll say like, the first one we did.
There's this many copies of it in the wild.
Yes. So that way we know. Anyway, so this week, that's what we're going to do. Steven, what would you like to say to the people before we get out of here?
Every day, you guys just continue to just drown me in love and support. And I appreciate each and every one of you. Every time someone new finds the show or finds us and just like loves on my artwork or loves on us at all, like it really does help us continue to like because it's a lot of effort and it's a lot of energy to put into this, and it feels awesome. And thank you so much for like loving on us and just basically putting the gas in our tanks to continue to drive forward on this dream.
Yes. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for all of your support, all your continued support. And thank you for getting past the barnacle conversation. I know we lingered on the barnacle penises, but it's, it's interesting, right? It is pretty fascinating, but thank you. Thank you for sharing our show and for sticking around for 161 episodes. Or if this is your first episode and you made it this far, thank you. Please make sure
congratulations.
Yeah, congratulations. Thank you. But welcome to our weird little colony. Please, if you can, share the show around with everyone anyone who might be interested in our weird little, the thing that we do here. It's just, it would mean a lot because it's hard to get stuff like this out, and we're trying to just keep the show what it is and just be ourselves and make our books the way we want to make them and get out there into the world. And like we've kind of cultivated and curated this like cool little community of people. We have this like fun colony, and we're thankful for all of you. But because of that, it's hard to grow that. It doesn't grow, like it grows slowly and steadily, but it's a small growth over time. It's hard. We want to make those leaps so
it's a small growth, very much like a barnacle. We just want to be able to leap out of our barnacle 8 times the size we are now,
That's exactly what we need. We need you to help us stretch our arms like so many barnacle dongs and reach out to everyone. We shouldn't reach out with those to people. Don't be a Barney, but do help us as much as you can. We do appreciate all of your support, and we love you. Thank you so much. We will see you next week. I'm Anthony.
And I'm Stevie Wildcard.
This has been We Have Issues.
Boom! It's at least a good thumbnail.
Oh yeah,
Thumbnail.
That's a pretty good one. That was a great thumbnail.
For some reason, I just imagine like a lobster in space, like being really touched by that and wiping away a urine tear from its eye. Oh, it's so beautiful. It's so beautiful. Like in the yellow fluid.
Did they do it again? Yeah, they pushed our cause forward by like 10 years, these guys.
Dude, they are like living for us. So are kink lobsters like one of our mascots now? Do they belong on the circle? Is what I'm wondering. Can we just put a lobster there?
We need to put a lobster on our circle.
We need to add a lobster to the circle, don't we? Like,
I mean,
the sex lobsters,
like the things that like we had a big bucket era, and then we had a big lobster era, and like those things.
What if it's a lobster with like a bucket hat, and he's proposing to you with a barnacle? Like he's got a little barnacle ring.
Okay, yeah, obviously I'm gonna say yes. I'm not gonna know that. I'm gonna say yes, and it's gonna be so awkward to explain that to everyone we ever talk to.
I have no idea what this means. Oh, it's like 3 jokes deep. You gotta.
It's gonna be like, oh, what's with the lobster? Lobsters supposedly mate for life. That's why, yeah, there's a ring. And
they mate for life, and then
the barnacles they stay in one place their whole life. So those they have that in common.
You know, they call barnacles the pearls of the sea. Aren't the pearls of the sea? Pearls of the sea. Nope. It's the barnacle.
The pearls of the sea.
You can't call yourself something that exists with us. Did you just call yourself the pearl of the sea when I exist in said sea? Like,
can you imagine a pearl?
Could you imagine the confidence of a barnacle? Like,
I mean, it makes
remember,
sense.
Ladies and gentlemen, have the confidence. Yes,
that's some BDE right there.
That's some big dick energy if I've ever seen it.
All right, dude, I have to go edit this freaking thing.
Yep, I love you, dude.
Right,
have a great night.
You too. I'll talk to you soon.